Ag PhD full episodes and more are now available on Acres TV, the newest ag platform connecting you to fields of information. Look for us on watchacrestv.com.
During our Farm Basics time today, we're going to answer the question, what is a nurse crop?
Well, one particular crop, alfalfa, that we hear about a lot, needing a nurse crop is a great example for us. So alfalfa seed is this tiny little seed. It takes a little while to get going, and those little seedlings, boy, they are just so vulnerable to wind storms and dust blowing around and injuring those plants early. So oftentimes farmers will say, you know what, I'm going to put a nurse crop out there. I'm going to put oats in there at the same time I seed the alfalfa. Those oats will come up, grow tall really quick, and provide some shelter for those tiny little alfalfa plants. And then, you know what, I can just go back in after a few weeks, spray something, kill the oats off, and have a nice alfalfa stand.
So with this nurse crop thing, you might say, well, then what's the big deal? Why do you care if I have a nurse crop or not? Darren kind of laid out, all right, we want to protect that crop. But the thing that I'm always focused on is maximizing yield. And like with alfalfa, I want to maximize my long-term stand. So I want to have that last as long as possible and be as good as possible. Well, it's hard to do when in effect, it's got a weed out there to start with that I planted. That's how I look at the nurse crop. It's going to hurt the alfalfa to some degree for tonnage and for the longevity of that stand in most cases. So a lot of people realize that and they go, ooh, okay, well, let me kill off that oats as quickly as possible. And it's pretty easy to do because there are a lot of grass herbicides to kill oats.
Well, occasionally we'll hear about nurse crops in areas where surface crusting is a real problem, where if you get a hard rain, the surface of the soil gets really hard and creates a crust, and seeds that don't have a lot of push can't get through. So we'll hear farmers say, you know what, I'm going to put a nurse crop with it so I have something else to give more push so crusting doesn't get to be a problem. That could get you by for a short-term solution, but long-term, if you do have some soil issues, you can correct that oftentimes by adding more calcium or rebalancing that soil nutrient profile.
So once again, a nurse crop is basically just, if I've got a main crop out there and I want something else to go along with it for whatever reason to help it get out of the ground, to protect it from wind, or I mean anything, it doesn't really matter, that's considered a nurse crop. And usually what people will do is kill it off right away. Occasionally you'll see people, for example, like with the oats and alfalfa, they'll try to cut the oats or actually harvest the oats or something like that. Well, then it's really become a weed and now you've really hurt that other crop. So we always want to try to focus on, all right, what's our main crop? How do I maximize overall yield and tonnage and profitability with that? And the nurse crop is just something that we want for a little while to help it out.
Well, you often do get your best yields when it's only that crop in the field, especially if you can wipe out any weeds that might compete against it. Can you identify this week's Weed of the Week?